So, here we are, 2002, TT's back. What does it feel like?
Wonderful, especially in view of what happened last year with the foot and mouth. I think in a way it's given the TT a bit of a boost, really. I think so many people have missed it that they have come back for sure this year. I must admit that when it all happened last year and it was stopped for the season, so to speak, I was a bit bothered about what effect this would have on the future, whether it would be the thin end of the wedge. Because, let's face it, there are always some people who would like to see it stopped. Thank goodness the majority love it, and it's just great to be back here and on a beautiful day as well.
Take us back to your early days. How's it all changed?
Oh, chalk and cheese. The racing itself is so different. The bikes are entirely different with their big fat tyres and disc brakes and fantastic power, just about 3 times the power that the last machine I rode had. The only slight fly in the ointment, I think, is the backup side of things. You know, things like no proper toilets, which perhaps isn't the right thing to say, but nevertheless it's something that the government should do something about. I mean, it's an incredible thing that their hospitality suite, which is a government building, which is used every year, has no toilet in it.
That is bizarre.
It is bizarre, yes, absolutely. I mean, it wouldn't be allowed if you or I wanted to run a hospitality suite here. The first thing they'd do is jump down on us because we didn't have any toilets.
Anyway, TT then and now, your heyday and all that, do you still miss the buzz of it?
Yes, in a way. I loved it while I could do it properly. I mean, it would be lovely to put the clock back, but can't we all say that? No, I did really love it. I think it was different in those days. Although the TT is still very much a traditional and unique race, it has changed quite a bit. Commercialism has started to creep in, and of course it's well and truly into the Grand Prix scene. In that respect, I'm glad I rode when I did. It was a lovely atmosphere. Everyone was friendly, all the riders were friendly to one another. They were very competitive in the race, but once the race was over, or before the race, we were all mates, so to speak. And it's very nice to be able to look back on that and realise just how nice it all was.
Which year stands out in your favour?
Well, I suppose I'd have to say the first year I won the senior, really, in 1950. The worst year was definitely 54, and I thought I got a very good chance of winning on a redesigned Gilera. And then, of course, after leading for 3 laps, they stopped the race at the end of the 4th lap when the sun was shining, and yet they started the race when it was certainly unfit to go racing. That was a great disappointment to me, there's no doubt about it. But the first senior TT win in 1950 was just out of this world as far as I was concerned. In fact, the TT to me really meant at least as much as winning a World Championship. It was 93.3 or something, I think, in 1915. But then the conditions were very different. I reckon that the course itself is about 15 miles an hour quicker now than it was in those days. And then the machines and even riders' techniques must have made some difference. And of course the technology side of it, there was absolutely no comparison whatsoever. The Gilera, the last one I rode, developed 68 horsepower. The current Hondas are producing about 180 horsepower. So that's just 3 times the power. And so the best I could do was to lap at just, I don't know, 0.2 of a second under 100 miles an hour.
You get out the lap of honour, yeah?
No, I don't do that now. Actually, well, I dislocated my ankle on the continent, not in the TT, in 1952, and arthritis set in and I had to have it fused. It's got a couple of screws in it now, and it happens to be the gear change side, so I just can't change down on a Norton, or not even on a Gilera, which had a much lighter gear change.
So you haven't really done the TT with any pace for some time?
No, not for a while. I don't know how long ago it was. The last time I went out and really enjoyed it would be when the Manx Grand Prix was on, and that must be, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 years ago, as long as that, yes. That was great, because I could still, ride reasonably well without any fireworks, but now I wouldn't attempt to do it. It would be stupid even to try, to be quite honest.
So how is Geoff Duke going to be remembered, do you think?
I don't know. Maybe for the riders' strike in 1955.
Remind us about that.
Well, that was the problem at the Dutch TT, where the private riders were given so little starting money they could hardly afford to travel on the continent. And they tried hard with the organisers to get more money, and they refused. So they finally decided they'd have a strike at the end of the first lap. They'd all come into the pits, which they did, one after the other, leaving 3 motor gutses, works motor gutses, going around the circuit. Was the crowd absolutely all jumped up, wondering what was happening. And they went to they said, well, they'd do the same in the 500 if they didn't soften a bit. Went to the organisers, and they still refused to do it. So then, I suppose one of the works riders, they came to me and said, would we support them? I had a word with the others, and they said yes, they would. Went back to the organisers again, and then they gave in. But the problem was that everything went off according to plan then, except that at the AGM of the FIM in October, a group of us, about 12 of us, including Reg Armstrong and myself, were banned for 6 months from the 1st of January, which meant, well, we wouldn't ride in the Dutch TT anyway as things were, but it meant we couldn't ride in the TT, which was, of course, a very serious blow to us. And in spite of all the efforts that were made legally and otherwise, nothing could be done about it. I'm afraid the governing bodies of sports like car racing and motorcycle racing are all powerful, and we just had to accept it. But it did a lot of damage to motorcycle racing, to the enthusiasm of manufacturers, and I do feel that it had quite a bit to do with the withdrawal of manufacturers. That was Motor Guzzi, Gilera and Mondial, and should have been MV as well, but they reneged on the deal. It had quite a lot to do with their withdrawal from Grand Prix and racing generally at the end of 1957.
So, your prize money in its heyday was what?
Senior TT was £200, and at that time Norton's kept that because they said it was so expensive to compete in the Isle of Man, believe it or not. That was changed the following year, and I had a little bit to do with that.
So what are these guys doing now?
Well, all I know is that Doohan, the Australian, who's never ridden here, was riding in Grand Prix, and he was the top man. He was reputed to be on $2 million a year, plus what he won. That was just his sort of sponsorship, so to speak.
Anyway, the Duke name keeps going. I mean,
this is nice. My son's done a great job. It's a very personal thing as far as he's concerned. He's got fantastic enthusiasm for the TT and for racing in general. And although I say it myself, I think he's done a super job.
Do you think the TT will be here forever?
Well, forever is a very difficult thing to say, but I see no reason why it shouldn't go for a long, long time. It still quite often gets oversubscribed with riders, so people want to ride in it. It produces about 40,000 outside, apart from the locals, spectators every year. There's no sign of any decline as far as that's concerned. So, and it is so completely unique worldwide. So I can't really see it stopping in the foreseeable future anyway.
Officially or not? Like, no, you haven't. Where are you going? You know.
Go down, so she's
Yeah.
Ramsey Hampton with something loose, and the travelling master of the bungalow was to observe him through there. Just give me another photograph there. Could you sign it for us?
Yeah, sure.
We have just been down to watch down Bray Hill.
You've been watching the fly past, have you?
Yeah, absolutely amazing, isn't it?
How they don't, I gathered that your line was absolutely superb, but how they don't clip that pavement.
Beats low flying, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. The other day, I think it was on Saturday, Jeffries actually overtook someone on the outside at the bottom of the hill. Yeah.
I saw
To go off to Tenerife. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is lovely today. Beautiful. That was really heart stopping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But what speed did you use to go through there?
It is. Unbelievable.
I must say, as I said last night, my first TT experience, it is a certain magic about it, isn't there? Which you really can't get until you actually see it.
Exactly.
Yes. It's right remarkable. And it's the crowds and the things as we go along the streets. It's really quite unique. Yes.
It is.
And very good natured. They are. Yes. Oh, they're lovely. They really are. Just saying
Like the
that.
crowds outside the other day.
Yes,
Wonderful
Davis.
crowds.
Yes.
All having
Yes.
one object to enjoy themselves. And that's exactly
Some still coming. George McCann. Yeah, and one of the 250 just on the approach to the corner of the one. That's number 73. That's the close. So you can hear the scream of the neutral engine there on the backside. He has up towards the one the corner. Really now shouldn't be that far away. 17 minutes out on this lap. Sandy Byrne begins to think about the. In 1993, he also won the 400 that year.
Your week so far, looking back, happy, satisfied, disappointed?
Oh no, over the moon. Like, somebody told me that we're going to get a 4th here this morning. I said, aye, 14th, not 4th, but well chuffed for that, like, because there's a lot of hot guys out there, and it's good to finish up among them.
You seem to be stepping up every year and stepping up every year. I mean, when do you expect to peak?
Oh, I don't know. You can never put a time or a day on that there. It's just how you feel on the day, and if things go well, they go well, and if they don't, they don't. But nah, I'll not say nothing on that there part.
Good man. All right, so that's the situation here for the moment. Down in paddock, we've got 13 minutes, in fact less than 13 minutes to go. The weather again, in fact the wind has picked up even more than it has since this morning, but again it wouldn't say it was windy. It's just a very nice breeze here. The sun's out, clouds in the sky, and conditions seem perfect for going out, putting the bike through its paces, seeing what needs to be done, getting a feel for the machine, and getting it in tip-top condition for Friday's racing. Looking along, in fact, there's quite a number of machines now down at the old he's in there. Maria Costello as well, one of the women that are riding here this year. Maria's back at the TT. She's going out as well.
The gear lever valve, the gear lever kept tanked in down. Selector box valve.
It's always got something to say.
Always got something to say, yeah? We just love paddock down here.
What are you going to ride on
My mate's
had to pull in obviously, and that was that done, you know. Things were going alright until then, but disappointing really. That was the one that I really wanted to win, and it's not happened, so come back another year and another go.
That explains the reason for the delay for the sidecars then as well, but now you've still got more time to do it, and you've got to be up there as well, and you are one of the favourites for the honours on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the 600 probably should go okay. We'll get a lap on it tonight, we'll get a lap on the big bike tonight, change one or two things, and hopefully it'll get a little bit better. And yeah, I apologise for the oil at the end of the Cronkavodi. I mean, my concern was to get off the bike straight away and run back up to the marshals to get an oil flag out. I understand the Duffus had a moment around there, but you know, that was out of my hands. But you know, that was the main concern, was to get the bike stopped and get an oil flag out. It was, you know, it was in a real dangerous, you know, position. But I attempted my underpants out first before I could do anything.
So still a little bit of work to do, but the mood within the camp?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, nothing you can do about it. You know, that's racing, and you know, we've lived to fight another day, and we'll be back.
Good. We hope to see you back, John McGuinness. Truly one of the top riders in recent years here in the Isle of Man. So, with 5 minutes to go, we'll briefly hand you back to Jeff Cannell at Motorcycle News Grandstand.
It really was an experience. I wouldn't have left there.
Yeah, that's a good hand with Mickey Mouse on it. Not a Mickey's are up.
Who's the bloody B&M fellas get on there?
Oh, I don't know. They've qualified to come round again.
This one you let Neville.
Back up the line.
Because he could go around the room. I haven't allowed him to came through the bloody valve.